Good morning, students. Welcome to online class. I hope you all are fine. So get ready for your English class. Today we are going to start a new chapter from the grammar, that is phrases and clauses. Before starting with phrases and clauses, I would like to revise sentence. That what is a sentence? As you all know, we have discussed in the first chapter that what is a sentence. Yes, tell me. Sentence is a group of words arranged in a proper order that makes a complete sense. It has a subject and a predicate. We discussed part of a sentence. That sentence is divided into two parts, subject and the predicate. Subject tells you about the name of a person or a thing we are talking about, right? And predicate is consist of a verb and rest of the sentence, and predicate tells you about the subject, what the subject is doing. So we have discussed parts of a sentence. That sentence is divided into two parts, subject and predicate. Subject names the person or thing we are speaking about, and predicate tells you about the subject, tells something about the subject. It has a verb and the rest of the sentence, or you can say it has a verb and the object of the sentence. Okay, so I hope this sentence is clear to you. Why we have discussed sentence, that will be clear to you later. Okay, so let's keep this thing in mind, that sentence is a group of words that should be arranged in a proper order and it makes a complete sense, and it has a subject and a predicate. Okay, so our topic is the phrase and the clause. What are phrases and what are clauses? We are going to study about phrase and clause in this chapter. Now, a phrase is a group of words that make some sense but not a complete sense. It does not convey a clear message or meaning, and it is only a part of a sentence. Now, as I told you that sentence is formed by a group of words. Okay. Now here phrase is also a group of word that makes some sense, not a complete sense. It makes some sense but not a complete sense. It does not convey the clear message, and it is only the part of a sentence. Right? Let's see some examples. The examples are in the corner, under the bed, full of life, a white lie. All these are phrases. Now look at these examples carefully. In these examples, there is no subject and no verb. Only a phrase is there: in the corner, under the bed, full of life, and a white lie. So these are the group of words that make partial sense, not a complete sense, right? And secondly, these phrases have no subject and a verb. Okay, and that's why they form a partial sense, as they depend upon the rest of the word in a sentence to complete its meaning. I hope it is clear now that what are phrases, right? Now talk about clauses. What is a clause? Clause is a group of words which forms a part of a sentence. But it has a subject and predicate, but it is not independent like a sentence and does not convey complete sense by itself. Now clause, how this clause is different from phrase. It is also a group of word which forms the part of a sentence. Same is the phrase. Phrase is also a group of word which form a part of a sentence. But the clause has a subject and a predicate. But still it is not independent like a sentence. As sentence, you all know, is an independent sentence. It makes a complete sense. It has a subject and a predicate. But here clause is also making a part of a sentence, irrespective of the fact it has a subject and a predicate, but still it is not independent and does not convey complete sense by itself. It also depends on the other word in a sentence to make complete sense. Okay, let's take at the look at some examples to make it more clear that what a clause is. See the examples. The people who trust God are fearless. Now here in the first sentence, who trust God is a clause. How? Who trust God is a group of word which makes some sense but still not independent to make a complete sense, right? And here who is a subject and trust God is a predicate, right? So who trust God is a clause here. The man who stole my purse has been arrested. Now here also who stole my purse is a clause, where who is a subject and stole my purse is a predicate, right? Again, it is independent, not independent to make a complete sense of a whole sentence, right? It is forming a part of a sentence. In short, these clauses are forming a part of a sentence. Then third example, my book that was on the table is missing. Now that was on the table is a clause. That is a subject. Was on the table is a predicate. So all these underlined words are the clauses here. Okay, so I hope this is clear. What are clauses? Clauses are the group of words that make some sense and they form a part of a sentence, but they are not independent to make complete sense by itself. Secondly, they have a subject and a predicate, which phrases don't have. Clear? Yes, some phrases can be changed into clauses and vice versa. Now see first example. He wore a chain made of gold. Now made of gold is a phrase here because made of gold is a group of word which is not having a subject and a verb, right? It is only a phrase which is forming a part of a sentence. He wore a chain made of gold. Made of gold is a phrase here. Now how we are going to change this phrase into clause? As we said, clause is having a subject and a verb, subject and a predicate. See, he wore a chain that was made of gold. Now that is the subject here and was made of gold is a predicate here. So it will be converted into a clause. I hope this example is clear to you. Next is the girl in blue dress has disappeared. Now in blue dress is a phrase here. No subject, no predicate. This in blue here, blue dress, sorry, in blue dress is a phrase here. Okay. Now how to convert this phrase into a clause which consists of a subject and a verb? Let's see. See, the girl who was wearing blue dress has disappeared. Now who is the subject here and was wearing blue dress is the predicate here. That's how the phrase has been changed into clause. See the fifth example, the plate with golden leaves is broken. With golden leaves is a phrase here. How to convert it into clause? The plate which has golden leaves is broken. Now here which is a subject and has golden leaf is a predicate. I hope the conversion of phrase to clause is clear to you. Okay, but the main thing we need to remember is what is a phrase and what is a clause, and we have to identify the phrase and clause in a sentence. Conversion of phrase into clause is not in your syllabus, but still I have added up to your knowledge that you must know that phrases must be changed into a clause and vice versa. In the exercise, we need to remember the rule that phrase is a group of words that make partial sense. It has no subject and verb. Clause is a group of words that make some sense and forms a part of a sentence, but it has a subject and a verb. But whereas contrary to both phrases and clauses, sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. It can stand on its own. It has a subject and a predicate. So I hope the difference between phrase, clause and sentence is clear to you. Okay, related to that, worksheet has been given to you where you have to identify whether the given group of word is a phrase, clause or a sentence. Okay, so let's discuss some example. Here are some sentences has been given to you, and here we have to identify whether the underlined word is a clause or a phrase. Okay, so first is I think that you have made a mistake. Now here in the first example, that you have made a mistake, here we have a subject and a predicate. So it is a clause, right? He is a man of great wealth. A man of great wealth is a phrase here. No subject, no verb, right? The sun rises in the east. In the east, here is a phrase here. Okay, what you say is not true. Now in this sentence the subject is it. Okay, so this when subject is there in the sentence, subject is there in the group of word and verb is there in the group of word, then it is a clause, right? Keep him at an arm's length. At an arm's length is a phrase here because there is no subject and a verb. Sixth example, a think of beauty is joy forever. A think of beauty. Think of beauty is a phrase here because no subject, no verb. Joy forever is also a phrase here. So in one sentence, there is a possibility of two phrases also. And also there is a possibility of two clauses also. Okay, it is not like only one phrase and one clause will be there. It is a possibility of two phrases and two clauses in a sentence. So I hope today's lecture is clear to you about the phrases and clauses. This is how. Just be careful while doing the exercise and try to solve on your own. And first, I have given the introduction part in the worksheet. Do that introduction part in a neat and clean handwriting, and then after that you have to solve the worksheet. Try to solve on your own and then check your answers from the answer key. Okay, so let's take a quick recap what we have learned today. Phrase is a group of words that make some sense but not a complete sense. It does not convey a clear message or meaning, and it is only a part of a sentence. Like examples are in the corner, under the bed, full of life. These are the group of words where there is no subject and no verb. Then we discussed clause. Clause is a group of words which forms a part of a sentence but not a complete sense. Okay, it does not form a make a complete sense, but it has a subject and a predicate, right? The people who trust God are fearless. The man who stole my purse has been arrested. My book that was on the table is missing. So, underlined words are the clauses that consist of a subject and a predicate. Okay, so I hope phrases and clauses are clear to you. Now you are able to tell me what is the difference between phrase, clause and sentence. Phrase is a group of words that makes a partial sense. Clause is also a group of words that makes partial sense. Sentence is a group of words that arranged in a proper order and makes a complete sense. Okay. Now phrase has no subject and a verb. Clause has a subject and a verb. And sentence also has a subject and a verb. Phrase cannot stand on its own. Clause may or may not be stand on its own, and sentence is, it is as it is making a complete sense, so there is no point to talk about that whether the sentence can stand on its own or not, right? So I hope the difference between phrases, clauses and sentences is clear to you, and in the worksheet you are able to identify whether it is a complete sentence, whether it is a phrase or whether it is a clause. So wherever there is no subject and a verb, that will be your phrase. When there is a subject and a verb but it makes a partial sense, that will be considered as a clause. And whenever there is a complete sentence is given to you that consists of a subject and verb and hence making a complete sense, that will be considered as a sentence. So I hope the difference between phrase, sentence and clause is clear to you. Thank you.